Right. So I wouldn't say the scheduling. It's easy to blow it up when you look at it at the end of the year, but when you remember how that game went down, Oregon should feel really good about scheduling those games in the future. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of scheduling and how to get into the college football playoff necessarily, but Oregon fans, you're going in the right direction, especially the way you're recruiting now. I mean, I saw a recent stat that basically the state of California is just completely getting poached right now from out-of-state schools. And so it's only going to get better for Oregon. And I would tell Oregon and also all the other Pac-12 teams out there, if you want to continue to garner the respect from the rest of the country, you're going to have to keep playing these games. And maybe for a conference like the Pac-12, these bowl games do matter a little bit more because, well, we actually have, you guys playing teams that the rest of the country does care about a lot more. So there's an opportunity for you guys. I don't know, how many of you guys are, that Pac-12 is favored to win. I'm really excited to see Utah and see how they respond. And I'm really excited to see if USC can compete.
If I would have told you 5 years ago that USC would have the 11th of 12th class in the Pac-12.
They were 12th. They're dead last. They're 76 in the
Would
nation.
you have believed me?
Georgia Southern had a high recruiting class.
I think I could go on. I still play a lot of NCAA football. I think I could go on NCAA football right now and recruit it better than the 76 class of, just basically just choosing random people.
And keep a 5-star QB at least.
There's so much talent in California, and it boggles my mind. I mean, 76 in the country. And you're telling me there are some really bad schools that are in front of them that it just doesn't make any sense to me. I could be the head coach of USC and probably get a couple more kids to stay. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, it's California we're talking about here. I mean, you got people recruiting people to come all the way up to Minnesota and Wisconsin and places that nobody wants to go to.
Yep.
The Rose Bowl.
I don't really quite understand. And UCLA, honestly, is in the same boat. Like, they're no better off.
UCLA is just terrible. They're just terrible.
And so you got to, the Pac-12, in order to really to get back to where maybe it was before, needs either a UCLA or a USC to get back. And I thought maybe when USC won the Rose Bowl against Penn State that they had turned that page and had gotten it back together. To be fair to Clay Helton, though, I would say, the notion that you're going to get fired, halfway through every single season will hurt your recruiting.
For sure.
That's not a very good investment for many recruits thinking that you're going to get fired every year. So you got to give them a little bit of a benefit, but not a 76 in the country benefit.
Nope.
I mean, he did fill some holes that the team needed. So I'll give him that. Like, all his offensive lineman recruits are like 6'7", 6'8", 6'5". So he's bringing in some size, and they're running a spread. So it's like, okay, you're getting some NFL-type bodies, but you got to develop those kids. And honestly, if you look at Adoree Jackson, I think he would have been a better corner had he gone to LSU. I look at they had a couple 5-stars transfer. Oluwe Bedeku went to Illinois, 8 sacks. Didn't get a lick of playtime at USC. So it's shocking, but I also blame Larry Scott. The fact that when he should have added Boise State to the Pac-12, he didn't. And no one has yet to give me a good reason why Boise State in the Pac-12 isn't perfect. They beat almost all the Pac-12 teams. They beat Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl. Like, they're actually at one point.
How many people live in Boise, Idaho, compared to?
Doesn't matter. Their fan base travels. Their fan base travels.
That's the argument. I mean, it's a TV market, man. That's just how it's going to be.
Yep.
But no one's watching Arizona play.
They'd take Rutgers before they took Boise State.
That's just nasty.
Oh,
that was hurtful.
They'd fly Rutgers out there 6 times a year just to get their ass kicked. I don't even know if I'm supposed to swear on this, but
you're good.
It's cool. It's not trust me, it's not the most vulgar thing said on the show. It's all good.
Oh, I hope not, especially after watching the Pac-12 implode this year.
He's sticking the knife in. All right,
Corey.
Remember
No, in all honesty, I was doing really well, so I should probably wrap it up before I piss you guys off. But real quick, just to give you an idea, when I look at the Pac-12 schedule, since you're mostly Pac-12 listeners. I do see Washington winning. The Iowa USC game is probably one of the hardest ones for me to pick. I'm going to go with Iowa just because they've been more consistent this year. But in every capacity, I can see USC winning by 21. It's almost one of those times where I see Iowa winning 6 out of the 10 times, or maybe 7 out of the 10 times, and USC blowing out Iowa the other 3 times. It being in California is obviously going to favor USC. The Washington State Air Force game is really, really one of the other exciting games. It's going to be thrilled to watch. 2 kind of opposites. I do like Washington State now. And a little fun fact: remind me who the Washington State quarterback is. I slipped my tongue right now.
Anthony Gordon. He went to San Francisco Junior College.
Right. Yeah, Gordon. Yeah, this guy. So he was on a free agent for my Yahoo Fantasy League. And my girlfriend happened to be playing me that week, and I was like, "Oh, I was gonna pick this guy up and have him play, but you can take him, being the nice boyfriend that I am." And that was the week I think he went completely off. He had like 45, 60 points against me. And that was the last time I gave her any sort of advice when it came to fantasy football.
Yeah, he threw like 9 touchdowns against UCLA and lost.
Right, and then exactly. So again, consistency with Washington State. The Washington State-Washington, the Apple Cup, was actually one of the few times I covered the spread the right way on a Washington State game. So I was happy with that. I think Cal actually beats Illinois pretty handily. I liked Illinois. They had a pretty good blimp at the middle of the year. But Cal's defense, I think, will be the difference there. Florida State, I mean, talk about a dumpster fire. I hope they turn it around fast. But I don't see that happening that soon. I do like Arizona State to win that one, but man, that one could have the potential to be a really ugly game. Also, the fact that it's on CBS makes no sense and it upsets me. But I don't like CBS broadcasts for any reason.
Nobody does.
Nobody does, but
unless you're trying to nap.
Unless you're trying to watch good old Gary talk about how 5 SEC teams should get in the 4-team college football playoff.
Oh God! Oh, that was bad. That was terrible.
But also, in Utah and Texas, you would hope Utah responds positively after what happened in the Pac-12 championship. And I do like Oregon over Wisconsin. And maybe I'm a little salty because Wisconsin got to go over Penn State. I don't really know. Wisconsin, Jonathan Taylor is obviously really impressive. But Wisconsin has this probably the longest streak in college football history with starting quarterback names that we'll never remember after the year they leave.
Facts. Finally, someone who understands. Outside of Russell Wilson, I can't name one.
That was a good one. No, but if I gave you like a list of like the last, besides Russell Wilson, obviously, if I gave you a list of the last like 5 Wisconsin quarterbacks, and told you to put them in order, I guarantee you wouldn't be able to get 2 consecutively in the right order because they all literally blend together. So, can they make enough plays? I know when they played Miami in the last bowl game, they came out really aggressive and they looked really good, and then they just don't do that all the time. So it depends on what Wisconsin team you get. But typically, Wisconsin in bowl games, I think they've lost the last 3. Or excuse me, not bowl games, but Rose Bowls. They've lost the last 3, so I like Oregon in that one as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Alex Hornibrook, and then I can't think of anybody else before him.
You got Stavi in there.
Joe Slavi or Slavi.
There's I don't know, it hurts my head thinking about it, but they're literally just the same immobile white guys that can throw about 8 yards downfield.
Jim Sorgi University.
All right, Corey. Well, on that note, why don't you let our listeners know where they can find you on social media and when your next podcast is dropping? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can follow us at Hardcore CFB on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter if you dare.
at Corey, CORY _ in my last name. I won't even try to make you pronounce, but it's Lestochi, and which is LESTOCHI. But really follow the pod at Hardcore CFB. That's where all the good stuff is. Otherwise, you might just get my random rants about random things. Like you ever try to butter your bread with a cold stick of butter or a cold thing, and you just tear your bread apart? Like,
I'm traumatized.
This man got dragged on Twitter for saying peanut butter belonged in the fridge.
I'm traumatized.
That you should, because I don't know why you're not the only person. I saw someone else put something else in the fridge the other day, and I was like, why was that in the fridge? No, but yeah,
cold peanut butter in principle sounds good.
Yeah, some things sound good, but it doesn't mean they are.
USC.
I would say, follow me on. I'm doing a terrible job of promoting myself right now, but yeah, at Hardcore CFB is where all the football good stuff is. We are going to have another. We had our bowl game podcast already come out this past Monday. We're not on all platforms. I'm not going to lie to you. We're on the big ones. We're also on YouTube. Finally got that show on the road.
Cool.
But really, Twitter's where the main action's at. The Monday podcast that we just came out with had all the bowl games that were non-New Year's Six games. We talked about every single one of them. And then the one that I'm actually recording right after I talk to you, it will come out the following Monday, and that's specifically on the New Year's Six games. We're also going to have a Christmas special where we break down our all-decade teams, which will come out shockingly on Christmas. We do have a Patreon. Again, I just kind of got started, so if you really want to share some love, or you really think I'm funny, or want to provide some tips and things like that, we have lots of extra bonus content on there. That's www.patreon.com/hardcorecollegefootball. I do have a cute picture of my dog up there. But no, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun. I'd love to come back on it again. I'd love to have you guys on my podcast. And
sounds great.
Thank you.
No worries, man. It was great. Great having you. If you're ever in LA, feel free to stop by our studio. You're more than welcome. And yeah, we'll definitely do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know how many times after a drunken night that I just wake up in LA. Like I get from Auburn all the way out to LA. Now I have a place to stay.
Yes, sir. We got you. All right, Corey. You have a good night.
Maybe next time Penn State doesn't get screwed out of the Rose Bowl, we'll figure something out.
All right, for sure, man. Take it easy.
Hey, you guys have a good one. Cheers.
Peace.
Cheers.
Man, so that was Corey from Hardcore College Football Podcast.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, with the crickets.
Oh, man. Damn it, where's the applause on here? Oh, not it.
There you go. There's a clean one without the crickets.
Reset. Okay, we're back.
But yeah, man, shout out to him for taking some time to and bearing with all our own scheduling difficulties. Brought some great stuff. I'm sure the podcast he's going to record now, he's going to be jacked for.
Yeah, he really killed the Pac-12. Like, damn.
He killed everybody. He killed everything.
Bro, he killed Boise State. They didn't deserve to be killed. Like, Boise State's just a more athletic, nicer.
I mean, he was right, though.
Fresher version of Wisconsin. Like, let's be honest. If Boise State was in the Big Ten, they'd be nice.
But yeah, man, on that note, resetting it, touchdowns and tangents, live from the Good News radio station, Thursday nights. Shout out to X Squad affiliate. Shout out to FBC Radio. Any other housekeeping I gotta say? Free Mo. What else?
UCLA sucks.
Wow, that was a low.
They suck. They suck. What do you want me to do? They suck.
But yeah, on that note, there's a lot of NFL stuff that I want to talk about this week. So
college football stuff. High school football signing day was the 18th.
So do you want to get into
we can jump
signing
into that.
day?
We can jump into that.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, so first things first, California, as we talked about, lost everything. Lost all their top recruits. It's just a power vacuum. It's just they lost everybody. Sorry. Trayshawn Holden, Narbonne receiver. Where'd he go? Alabama. Went to Narbonne, is going to Alabama. DJ, the quarterback for St. John Bosco's, who won I think they won their Sierra championship game, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, Sierra Canyon got screwed, but I'll get to that later. He actually talked about the video how he wore number 5 because he loved Reggie Bush. And he's like, a lot of guys want to go to USC. He's like, but they just weren't recruiting me the way other schools were.